UFC 323 is here. We got some bets to cover. It's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA. You guys know the deal. Let's cover these bets. Now, first up, we're going to go over some of my favorite parlay pieces for this card. Now, starting off, I like Mansur Abdul-Malik quite a bit in the spot. I know the line is extremely wide, but I do think it's a good parlay piece. We're going to talk about this one a little bit further. If your book offers the -7.5 alternate spread, I don't know how many books besides DraftKings offer that, but I do think -450 versus -500, you're basically getting the exact same line. You get a little extra protection with that alternate spread. That's what I'm going with this week. Next up, I like Jalin Turner money line. I know this has gone quite a bit wider than this -310, but I still think it's pretty damn good value. I like Jalin Turner quite a bit this week. I think he's an absolute lock. And then next up, we got Brandon Moreno +7.5 alternate spread. I like it quite a bit. Extremely durable. Never been finished as a professional. You can say what you want. The Pantoja, rear naked choke, and the Ultimate Fighter, blah, blah, blah. In terms of actual professional fights that are tracked, he's never been finished before. I don't think Tatsuro Taira is going to do that. He's more of a backpacking merchant. You know, if he's not on your back, he's not all that dangerous. Brandon Moreno, experienced grappler. I don't see him getting the finish at all in the spot. So next up, I also like Pantoja moneyline straight up against Joshua Van. He has a huge grappling advantage. Clear as day, I think Pantoja should win the spot as long as he can get him out of there early. You know, maybe rounds 4 and 5, Van could take over a bit, but early on, I think Pantoja is going to have his way. I also like Merab moneyline. Yes, I know it's a bit wide, but still, I think Merab should have his way. The guys who win the first fight in a rematch often win at a 70% clip. I think this is no different. Merab's just gotten even better. He should win the rematch. And then finally, I like Peyton Talbot moneyline. Every single stat and trend line goes in Peyton Talbot's favor. I know there's a chance of the wrestling, but I just don't think Cejudo's going to do that. We'll talk about that fight a bit longer later in this video. But yeah, these are some parlay pieces I really like for this week. If you guys like this segment, let me know. Just a quick little breakdown early on in this video, but we're going to do a fight-by-fight breakdown as well. Also, there's some live betting opportunities that I like on the spot for all these fights on this card. I think there are some good value in terms of the live betting potential. Obviously, we don't know ahead of time, but there could be some good value here. With Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira, both somewhat durable guys. I guess Marvin Vettori a lot more than Bruno Ferreira, but I could see this fight going long. I could see the momentum going either guy's way early on. It could swing quite a bit. Same with Ziam versus Nazim Sadykhov. Both guys can have a lot of action, a lot of success early on. It could flip-flop either way. There could be some good value, especially considering both of these lines are about pick'ems. I think there could be some really good live betting spots there. Same with Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Same with Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. This is more so if Peyton Talbot gets grapple fucked early on in this fight, the line could tighten up quite a bit. It could give you some more value on that Peyton Talbot money line as opposed to doing it pre-fight. And same with Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira, kind of like the other fights earlier that we talked about in this live betting spots. I think if either guy has a lot of success early on, this line will completely flip the other way. And I think whoever can become an underdog in the spot, if you could get either guy at a big underdog line, very good live betting value there. And Terrance McKinney, Chris Duncan, same thing. Pick 'em fight. Either guy could have success early on. This could swing either way, and it could swing all the way back. So if you could get either guy as a big underdog and they're not like on the brink of death, you might as well put a little something on it. And Alexander Pantoja versus Joshua Van, this one is a bit of a standout in the sense of I think Van could be a good live bet early on. Maybe Pantoja has grappling success. If Pantoja cannot submit Joshua Van in the first 2 rounds, you could do a little live sprinkle money line bet on Joshua Van at a big underdog line. He will ramp up the longer this fight goes on, and his chances will get better and better the longer he can survive. So if you can get a nice underdog line of Joshua Van, maybe rounds 2, maybe rounds 3, that could be a good spot. But anyway, now we'll go fight by fight, break down these fights. Now, in terms of Muhammad Naimov versus Mairon Santos, I got a little alternate spread on Muhammad Naimov. You know, Mairon Santos looked like death on the scales, and Naimov is pretty durable. I think he's been underrated in the spot. Sure, he could lose. We just need the alternate spread +5.5. Pretty good value, -160. We just need him not to get finished, and at least 2 judges to say he didn't get 30-27, and this would cash. So I think this is a really good chance of hitting you. I like this quite a bit. Like I said, Santos didn't look great on the scales, and Mairon Santos, at this big of a line, I think he's being undervalued. I think he could definitely win. And he's only getting finished by guys like a Felipe Lima late into that fight. So I don't really hold that against him a ton. I don't think Mairon Santos would have the same type of grappling success. So I like this bet quite a bit. Just a quarter unit, -160. Next up, we got Mansur Abdul-Malik versus Antonio Trocoli. Now, I don't have anything on this. I got some parlays we'll talk about at the very end, but in terms of the singles, nothing on this one. Next up, we got Iwo Baraniewski versus Ibo Aslan. I got Iwo Baraniewski via submission as a little sprinkle, just 0.05 units, +550. I just think there's a really good chance. You know, we've never seen Ibo Aslan knocked out before, even though that's what the line suggests. They say Iwo is just going to knock Ibo Aslan out. He's never been knocked out. Yes, he's been rocked before. He's been hurt multiple times. We've seen it. However, he's never been KO'd, and he has been submitted. We've seen it in 2 out of his 3 professional losses. He's been submitted against guys who really aren't known for their grappling, like Ion Kutsulaba. So, Iwo Baraniewski, BJJ brown belt, judo black belt. He has the ways to take this to the ground, and on the ground, he's going to be the much better grappler, much more dangerous grappler. The submission should be there. if he's at least going for it. So that's why I have both of these lines. I have the submission play, 0.05 units plus 550, and I also have a same game parlay, that's that SGP, for Iwo Baraniewski and 1+ takedown landed. He is a black belt in judo, and he has a major advantage over Ibo Aslan. Why would he want to stand and trade and throw shots with a guy who's known for knocking people out? You know, that seems like the worst game plan he could have in this spot. The best game plan for him, the smartest, clearest path for him would to be take it to the ground, use that judo black belt to your advantage, land some trips. Once he's on the ground, once he's on top of Ibo Aslan, he's probably going to wrap up the submission. Could be a ground and pound TKO. That definitely could happen, but I think the submission would be a lot easier against a guy like Ibo Aslan, who is decently durable. So I like these plays quite a bit, but kept it light, just 0.15 units combined for both of these. But next up, Edson Barboza versus Jalin Turner. I got Jalin Turner by knockout. I got a ton of action on Jalin Turner on this card. We'll talk about in some later parlays. So I kept it light on this, only a quarter unit. But Edson Barboza's chin is absolute dust. I'm considering, I actually might double down on this as well, too. I don't mind having a half unit on Jalin Turner by KO, because a lot of books are offering kind of like the boosts, you know, if you on certain finish props. If you can get a nice little boost, like a 30% profit boost on those, I'd say do it. Do Jalin Turner by knockout. Seems like the best prop in this entire card, in my opinion. But I also have Jalin Turner by decision only, KO or sub, no action, meaning this bet only wins or loses if it goes to a decision. If there's a knockout or a submission for either guy, you get a refund. That's how this works. Minus 130, I think Jalin Turner would beat Edson Barboza in a stand-up match, even if he can't knock him out. For whatever reason, even though all of his wins are by finish, if he can't knock him out, he still could win a decision clear as day from the damage that he racks up throughout this fight. So, minus 130, I'm expecting a refund. I just think it was really good value, and I had to put something on it. Just a quarter unit, though, for both of these props. Like I said, I actually am probably going to do a double down, because that's the knockout prop is no boosted value. If I can get another nice boosted little ticket or whatever profit boost, I will do another Jalin Turner quarter unit at whatever the odds might be. At that point, it might be plus 120, plus 130, somewhere in there. But anyway, just want to let you guys know. But next up, we got Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. Now, I got some action on this one. Not that much in terms of the total amount, but in terms of the bets, got quite a few. We got Marvin Vettori sub only. I don't see Bruno Ferreira submitting Marvin Vettori. It's not going to happen. Marvin Vettori, very high-level BJJ black belt, and I don't see him getting submitted at all. If anything, Bruno Ferreira is the one that will likely get submitted in the spot if either guy gets submitted, you know, because Bruno Ferreira, we've seen when he slows down, he tires out. We've seen him submitted in the third round before when he death gassed. Why can't he do that, or why can't this fight look exactly like that? You tell me. Marvin Vettori, extremely durable. He has good cardio. If Bruno Ferreira is death gassed in the third round, Marvin Vettori does not have power in his hands. He does not have knockout power. If he's going to finish Bruno Ferreira, who's death gassed in the third round, it's going to be by submission. So I like this one quite a bit. I'm expecting it could be a refund. You know, maybe this goes to a decision. Hell, Bruno Ferreira could knock out Marvin Vettori, but if that were to happen, this is submission prop or submission only, KO decision, no action. If there is a knockout or decision, you get a refund. And then secondly, I have Bruno Ferreira decision only, meaning if there is a KO or a submission, you get a refund. It only wins or loses if it goes to a decision. I just thought this was great value. Now, I know the bookies completely disagree, but I think there's a real chance if Bruno Ferreira can survive to the scorecards, maybe he does enough to win rounds 1 and rounds 2. He could definitely do that. So for plus 215, this was more of a value play for me. Not necessarily that I think it's going to happen. It's just plus 215 seems absolutely nuts to me, considering we've seen Marvin Vettori lose quite a few damn decisions in his day. So I thought it was good value, just 0.1 units on that. And then I also have some sprinkle props on Marvin Vettori by submission. Now, in a recent interview, I don't know, I'm probably not going to have a clip in this because I have a couple clips I'm going to put in here, but I don't want this video to go too long. I need to get this video out to you guys ASAP. That's why I'm kind of talking fast like a madman here. I'm trying to get this video out quick. But I will say Marvin Vettori said his game plan for this was literally to wear Bruno Ferreira down, break him down, and get a late finish. That's exactly what he said, word for word. That's what he quoted. He said that's the game plan, just to wear him out. And I'm like, okay, you know what, Marvin Vettori, if he needs a bounce back spot, if he's going for a finish, this would be the fight. Do it against the guy who you can break down. Do it against the guy who you can really wear down, submit him late. We've seen it happen before. I like the Marvin Vettori late finish props. They're crazy, crazy odds, but I think there's a real possibility they could happen. I got round 1, round 2, and round 3. The only reason I added this round 1 as this a little 0.01 flyer is because Bruno Ferreira looked like shit on the scales. That's the only reason I added this. The ones that I had originally were just round 2, round 3. That's kind of where my heart was at originally. But yeah, plus 2,200, plus 3,000 for the round 2, round 3 sub props. I think it's great value. Will these hit? You know, there's a good chance they don't, but I think the probability that these hit is a lot better than the odds are giving you. This is a great value play in my opinion, so had to put just 0.05 units on each, very, very small amount, but hey, the chance I think is very live that this could hit. But anyway, Does it for this one. All right, next up, we got Nazim Sadykhov versus Fares Ziam. Got nothing on this one. I really can't bet against my boy Nazim Sadykhov, but at the same time, I don't want to lose money on a biased pick. So I'm rooting for Nazim Sadykhov, but no action on this one. Next up, Maycee Barber versus Karine Silva. This is going to be a bar burner of a fight. Who's going to win this one? Who knows? I don't want to have my money on this one. It's going to be sloppy, ugly. It's going to be a banger of a fight, but not one that I'm dying to put money on. Next up, we got Terrance McKinney versus Chris Duncan. I got two small little sprinkles on this fight. I got Terrance McKinney via round 1 sub and Chris Duncan via round 2 knockout. My favorite prop on this entire fight is the Chris Duncan via round 2 knockout. I think it's very live. We've seen Terrance McKinney, if he gets to a dominant position in the grappling, he can just hold on to you and survive into the second round. We've seen that happen multiple times with Terrance McKinney, where he just survives through the first round, second round comes around, he's death gats, he gets finished. We've seen it time and time again, and I think the Chris Duncan round 2 knockout at plus 900 is extremely undervalued. I think it's great value. At the same time, though, Terrance McKinney is going to be going for submissions early on against Chris Duncan. We know that he's going to be shooting takedowns early on. As long as he doesn't get guillotined, I thought about doing a little Chris Duncan round 1 submission prop because there's a chance Chris Duncan has a mean guillotine, but I think if Terrance McKinney gets to the back of Chris Duncan, he could be quite dangerous. We've seen Chris Duncan finish before early on. Could happen again here. Terrance McKinney extremely dangerous, but this one, they're so volatile. There are way too many random outcomes that could happen in the spot. I didn't want to overextend. Just 0.1 units combined on this fight. It's a bit of a bar burner, and any good props that were standing out to me are all completely juiced. I mean, the under 1.5 is shot. The fight to not start round 3 is like, what, minus 700 or something crazy? They're all shot, so not a ton of value on this one unless you're chasing a finish. Going very light on this one. But next up, Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Same thing. Not a ton of value. I don't know. I think I got these odds wrong. I think I copied the round 1 KO prop down to the round 2 prop. Real quick, post-editing Jacob here. It's actually Manuel Torres round 2 knockout is 0.05 units at plus 1,000. That's what that line's at. So back to the video. But I don't know what the round 2 one is. So I apologize. The odds are off on this, but I do have 0.05 units on the round 1 knockout and the round 2 knockout for Manuel Torres. I know for a fact I have that. I just don't. The odds are definitely off on at least one of them. But anyway, I think Manuel Torres has a shot of getting to finish early on, but if he doesn't, I don't really want to put a ton of money on Grant Dawson juiced up at minus 200 like that. I think the value is honestly probably there. It's just the chance of him getting knocked out is just it outweighs the risk and reward. Outweighs the reward that you could get from a Grant Dawson bet. Not really standing out to me, not something I'm dying to get behind. But yeah, I just got a tiny little prop on Manuel Torres, round 1, round 2 knockout, 0.1 units combined. Next up, if you guys like the content, help your boy out with the algorithm and drop a comment. It really helps a ton, and thank you guys for all the love on the videos. So next up, we got Jan Blachowicz, or Blachowicz. I'm always going to say it wrong. But versus Bogdan Guskov, I got Jan via submission, plus 800. Tiny little sprinkle, 0.05 units. It just seems like there's a value play to me. We've seen Guskov really dominated on the ground against low-level competition. We've seen him submitted before by guys who aren't known for their submissions, and Jan is a good submission artist. I know he doesn't get a ton of submissions at the UFC level. It's been quite a minute, but at the same time, Bogdan Guskov has showed serious holes in his game. Now, I was considering a Bogdan Guskov moneyline bet straight up. I will say, statistically, the younger guy in this spot will win at about a 72% clip. It's honestly not bad value to put a little bet on Bogdan Guskov moneyline. I think at a pick'em coin toss, I think it's decent value just because this is one of those fights where raw manpower and raw explosiveness and power can really beat skill, especially with this weight class. These guys are so damn big, they're so damn heavy, so damn powerful. It could just be the smallest bit of explosiveness from Guskov that could make the difference in the spot. So I think the value is probably on Guskov. This is one I'm just not dying to get behind, though. I'd rather just sit back, watch this one, enjoy it with my feet up. So I'm not getting too invested on this one. Just a small flyer on Jan via submission. But anyway, next up, Cejudo versus Talbot. I got some action on this fight a little bit later in the parlays we'll talk about, but no singles on this one. Same with Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. I got some action on this one that we'll talk about at the end, but nothing in terms of the singles. And Pantoja versus Josh Van. I got a little sprinkle on Pantoja via submission. I think that's his main way to win here. Josh Van, we've seen him submitted by lower level guys in the regional scene only, 2, 3, 4 years ago? So now he's in the UFC, 24 years old, in a title fight. Pantoja is one of the nastiest grapplers of all time. It only makes sense. Plus 155 for the submission prop. I was considering a knockout prop for Pantoja. We've seen Josh Van cracked multiple times, and Pantoja hits like a madman. I know he doesn't have a ton of knockouts, but he does crack hard. We've seen Josh Van cracked multiple times, and Josh Van is one of these guys where he's going to engage in the striking. He's going to want to stand in the pocket and go shot for shot. That's just asking to be, or he's asking to get knocked out in the spot like we saw against Charles Johnson. So Pantoja could knock him out. I believe it's like a plus 800, plus 900. I don't know exactly the number, but I do think it's not a bad option as a little sprinkle flyer. Pantoja by knockout could be live. I just think submission's probably the highest likely outcome of this fight ending. You know, I think Pantoja eventually is going to get to the back, and once he wraps up some type of body triangle, it's going to be over for our boy Josh Van. But anyway, does it for this one. Finally, Merab versus Petr Yan. I got nothing on this in terms of the singles. We'll talk about some parlays, but nothing in terms of individual bets. Now, if you made it this far, it's completely free to subscribe. Help your boy out with the channel. It really means a lot. So thank you guys for all the love on the videos. Now, we got the play of the week and the parlays for UFC 323. Let's dive right into it. Play of the week. We got 2 of them this week. Back again, 2 plays of the week. First one, Jalin Turner moneyline, Merab Dvalishvili moneyline, minus 156, 1 unit on the dot. Second one, Mansur Abdul-Malik, minus 7.5 spread, Brandon Moreno, plus 7.5 alternate spread. Bada boom, bada bang. Jalin Turner should run right through Edson Barboza. He's clearly ahead. Same with Merab Dvalishvili. He won the first fight. He should win the rematch. Like we talked about, the guys who win the first fight often win the rematch at a 70% clip. Merab Dvalishvili has gotten so much better since that last fight. Petr Yan, he really hasn't, you know, so it's hard to argue. It's hard to have a good argument for Petr Yan in the spot. I don't think he's going to be able to handle the takedown onset that Merab's going to have his way. The striking is going to be a lot more even than before. And now the threat of the striking is so much greater than before. It's going to be even more confusing for Petr Yan. It's going to be too much for him to handle. Unless he knocks out Merab, I don't see him getting the win here. Mansur Abdul-Malik, I'm going to put a clip. If you made it this far in the video, then I'm glad, because I got a little clip I'm going to put in this video here. And the reason why I'm confident in Mansur Abdul-Malik is I wanted to see where his mindset was after his last fight. He was a bit gun shy. I'm throwing this clip in here.
I see myself finishing him 110%. Of course, I'll be tactical. Of course, I'll be intelligent. But I'm ready to get to it, man. And maybe a little bit more than previous fights. I'm not sure where exactly it comes from. Maybe from the last fight and how it turned out, and more people talking. And that's something that kind of seeds inside your soul, especially as a man or a fighter. You know, you want to prove something. You want to prove something a little bit different, or you want to show something a little bit more than you did before.
But Mansur Abdul-Malik in a recent interview was saying, you know, I was unhappy with that last performance. I want to be a lot more hungry. You know, I want to come in here. I want to get a finish. I didn't like that last performance. I'm going to be more aggressive this time around. I'm looking for that finish. He said, I'm not going to chase it, but I do want to go for a finish a lot more intensely than my last fight. So I'm going to have that clip in here. Hopefully the clip's already played. And that just gave me enough confidence of like, okay, you know what? I'm like, screw taking Mansur Abdul-Malik's money line. Just take the spread. What you could do by knockout, it's just there's a small chance he could submit Trocoli. He could do it. I know he doesn't. He only has 1 submission. It's just I don't want to have a play of the week where it misses because Mansur gets a damn submission. You know, I don't want to put you guys through that. This is the play of the week. I want to make it a little bit more safe, you know, to encompass a bit more risk. So I like the Mansur Abdul-Malik minus 7.5 spread. Same with Brandon Moreno plus 7.5 alternate spread. Brandon Moreno, extremely durable, never getting finished ever. Pantoja technically, but besides that, never been finished. Tatsuro Taira is a guy where he's dangerous when he gets to your back. We saw against Royval, when he got to his back, that's when he was a bit dangerous, but he couldn't finish Royval. He's not going to finish Moreno. And the thing with Moreno is I don't see Moreno even allowing him to get to the back. I think Brandon Moreno is going to have much better takedown defense. He's going to have much better grappling defense than a guy like Brandon Royval, who he had lapses of judgment and made poor fight IQ decisions that cost him moments in that fight, and he still ended up winning. So Brandon Moreno, 31 years old, in his prime. I think he should beat Tatsuro Taira. It's just the play of the week. I want to play it a bit more safe for you guys. Got this line at minus 200. I like it quite a bit. 1 unit on both of those. And the second one right below there, the one in white, is not one that I have not placed this. It was just the example to show you, to compare the minus 7.5 alternate spread for Mansur versus his knockout or sub prop. It's literally minus 200 versus minus 192. Just go with the spread if you have DraftKings on the book, because I don't know if any other books have the alternate spreads. But if you do, just take the spread. It encompasses a 30-27 ass kicking. It saves you there. And considering the risk versus reward is basically there's no difference at all, you might as well go with the spread. But anyway, in terms of the other parlays, I got one parlay, Jalin Turner and Alexander Pantoja, 1 unit minus 115. I thought about making this the play of the week, but I just like taking Merab a bit more than Pantoja this week. You know, there is the chance Josh Van could last in bracket rounds. Maybe he wins round 4 and 5. There is that chance. Do I think it happens? No. There is the chance, though. I think he has a better chance than Petr Yan does in this spot, so I wanted to make the other one the play of the week as opposed to this. I also have Jalin Turner and Brandon Moreno plus 7.5 alternate spread. Double dipped. I pretty much got double the action on both. Half a unit minus 159 there. And I also got another little double down, double dip action. Mansur Abdul-Malik minus 7.5 alternate spread tied up with Peyton Talbot money line. I like Peyton Talbot money line, and I like it quite a bit. It's honestly growing on me because if you look at this, every single statistical trend, everything you could ever have to look at in terms of the numbers is going for Peyton Talbot this week. This is one of those bets where, sure, Peyton Talbot could lose, honestly. I'm probably going to double down on the Peyton Talbot moneyline bet, too. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm probably going to have some more action. I kind of want to have a little bit more on Peyton Talbot because it just makes total sense. If this is a bet that ends up missing, you can look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, you know, the bet made sense on paper. You know, Peyton Talbot, reach advantage. He has the height advantage. He has the, 11 plus year age gap. Statistically, he has about a 72% chance of winning that. Henry Cejudo stepping up a weight class to where he shouldn't even be. This is his retirement fight. I mean, there is so many things going against Cejudo in this spot. I just don't think he's going to get the job against Talbot. I think there's great value on Talbot in this spot. And who do you think the UFC wants to win? Why was this fight made? It was made to make their boy Peyton Talbot become a star. The reasons for this fight being even existing are all for Peyton Talbot's favor. There's literally nothing going against Peyton Talbot in the spot except Cejudo's chance of wrestling, which he hasn't shown at all in recent years. So I like Talbot quite a bit. I think he's great value in terms of your bets. But anyway, guys, these are all the play of the weeks and the parlays. The play of the week, like I said, it's just the first two. The third one, I'm not playing. It was just a little comparison there. But anyway, this is the full slate UFC 323. Hope you guys got some value from this video. I'm talking so damn fast. I'm running out of wind. Trying to get this video up to you guys real quick. Trying to make it short and condensed so you guys can watch this before the fight start. Get some bets in, get some plays in. Let me know you guys thought stuff. You guys like any of these bets? If you don't like anything, let me know in the comments. Let me know what stood out to you. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for the love on the recent videos. It's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA. I'm going to get this one out to you guys ASAP. And yeah, I'll see y'all soon. So, peace.